Welcome to the bush. Don't click away. I've got a great episode here for you today. We're in a hedge grove right here, and I'm going to show you how to build a shelter and stay nice and warm in below freezing temperatures using hedge. There happens to be 2 logs that have been laying here perfectly spaced apart, and we can simply cut 2-inch pieces and put them across to make a bed. So that'll be our bed. That part is easy. It's already done for us by nature. Now all we have to do is build the rest of the shelter. Well, I started working on my sidewall there, just doing it log cabin style, and I just ran out of daylight, so it's hard to walk through the woods with a headlamp and pick pieces that are straight enough, to build a wall out of. So I'll continue that tomorrow. But I've got my roof completely done, or at least the framework of my roof. So what I brought back here with me is a bunch of scrap pieces of plastic and tarp. We're going to put that on, and then we're going to pile debris and dirt and everything else on top. So I had all this old plastic, that obviously small pieces, some 4-foot pieces, 3-foot pieces. So instead of throwing it away, it makes a perfect base for our earth shelter to let the water run off. So the way I do it is I start in the lowest corner or the lowest end of your shelter roof, and you do just like shingles. You want to overlap. You want to overlap each piece so that the water runs onto the top of the next one and off. Even though these have holes in them and everything else, by layering multiple layers of plastic, and I got some old tarps that are just sort of frayed and everything, I'm going to lay those on top. The more layers you make, the more of a winding, twisting path that the water has to take before the water can actually drip down on you. So the more layers you have, the more protection you're offered against water. So it's a very good use for stuff that would otherwise get thrown away. So my friend Marilyn gave me this tiki torch holder. I don't burn a lot of tiki torches, but I got to looking at it, and I thought, aha, I'll plant this in the ground. And, hang on, when you're working around your campsite, we now have a beer holder. That doesn't suck. Well, it is a new day, and we're back at our shelter location here, and we're going to continue construction because we're staying the night tonight. So you want to pile as much leaves, sticks, dirt, moss, debris, everything as possible If we were in a true survival situation and we were doing a debris shelter, we would probably spend the majority of the day piling stuff on. And a lot of this is pretty dry, so if we get a windy day, this is all going to blow off. We did throw some sticks on top. I mean, if you were close to a river or driftwood, whatever. But you just want to make it as thick as possible. It'll provide insulation above your head, but most importantly, more channels that the water has to go through to get to you. So if we were truly in a survival situation or a rainy situation, we would pile a lot more on here. Now what I'm going to do is when the leaves and everything greens up this spring, I'm going to pile some green stuff on here. I'm just going to keep coming out here periodically and piling stuff on as it breaks down. And what we'll end up with is kind of like a dirt cover, basically a dirt grassy roof. Stuff will start growing out of the top of this probably. That's actually what we want. Well, we ran out of daylight, and but the good news is we have our sleeping situation pretty well figured out. That's always a feeling of comfort when you're in the bush and nighttime is coming. So one of the problems we had is this log, we were jacking it up to make the bed level, and the log wanted to roll down the hill because this kind of slopes downhill. So I'm just driving in some stakes here to keep our log from rolling, because I still have to jack it up a little bit right here. The great thing about hedge is when you put hedge in the ground, it is really, really rot resistant. So these stakes could stay in the ground for, probably several years, honestly. So this is a really cool sleep system here. What these are sleeping bags from a company called Wiggies. So these are Wiggies sleeping bags, and this happens to be their Hunter Antarctic sleeping bag. It's good for temperatures down to negative 60 degrees Fahrenheit. So what we're going to do, though, the cool thing is I've had my Wiggies sleeping bag for about 2 or 3 years now, but I bought Tiffany one for Christmas, so now we have 2 of them. And what you can do with these Hunter Antarctic bags is you can actually zip them together to make one big bag. So it's really neat when you put the 2 bags together, you can actually have a couple's sleeping arrangement, which is really cool. So we're going to give that a try tonight. We've zipped them together before. It's kind of hard to do, and it's even harder to do out in the woods, but we'll see. We need a pot hanger now. So I found this stick, and I'm just going to shove it right into the top of the shelter. And I think that'll do us just fine. We've got total mobility here. We can move it around, and we can hang our pot from it, and we can simply wrap it around it to bring our pot up or down. I might cut the end off, but this is going to be perfect. We've got some deer stew we're going to simmer for a while and enjoy just a little bit later. All right. This kettle has our water in it, so we'll have hot water on demand in case we want some hot cocoa or something yummy like that. Some tea. I think we brought some tea with us. Tiffany did. Look at that apparatus. Now we're not tripping over tripod legs and everything else. Yeah. These little lanterns are pretty cool, but they're honestly just for the ambiance. They don't really put out much light, but that's okay. We're camping bushcraft style, kind of, and we like the ambiance. Yeah. Now, this guy right here is the source of most of our light tonight. That is kind of the way to go. You can't see it now because it's on, but I actually broke the glass at one of our campouts, and since then I actually found a wire screen mesh instead of glass, so I don't have to worry about dropping this and breaking the glass anymore. The only thing I have to worry about is breaking the mantles, which you can replace. Yes, the moment we've all been waiting for, right? Step 2. All right. In honor of Steve Wallace, I love watching his videos. They're great. And so, yeah, we got this chocolate milk brew. Let's give it a try. Oh, yeah, that was worthy of a new. Hey, I don't care where you are, what you're doing. Pause this video right now, go get your favorite beverage, and then join me again. All right, hopefully you got your favorite beverage. Let's talk a little bit about this shelter. Believe it or not, I actually put a little thought into this shelter. I tried to make it tall enough, just barely, to where I can sit on the edge without hitting my head. But the thing is, you don't want it super tall or you just lose all your heat. So this is kind of the perfect compromise. And I like the logs going across. It keeps it nice and low. The lower you are, or the closer to level you are with your fire, the more heat you're actually going to feel. If you're way up high and your fire's way down below, you're not going to get that radiant heat that comes from the side of your fire. And with a low roof, you can simply put a beam out and hang your pots from that, which is a nice touch. You're not tripping over tripod things and everything else. So the only thing I really have left that I have to do is I really need to cut some firewood to get us through the night. And but we're pretty much down to the relaxation part. I want to say a lot goes into making yourself comfortable for the evening. Like, it's people don't understand how hard it would actually be to survive in the bush, because you have to put a lot of effort in. You have to make sure your bed is situated and level, and that everything's just right. And I'm kind of a picky sleeper, so I spend a little extra time doing that. But you got to put your bedroll out and get everything situated. Like, it's a lot harder than it is to just crawl into your bed at home. For Christmas, I got this heat gun, and I want to show you guys like just how warm a shelter like this can actually be. So let's fire it up and let's just see. Let's take a look. Obviously we've got a big fire going in front of us. We've got a long fire going here. It's about 4 feet long. And so the idea of a long fire is when you're laying down at night in your shelter, it covers your whole body. It's kind of, if you have a 4 or 5 foot fire and you're only 5 or 6 foot tall, then you're getting radiant heat from the whole entire fire. But anyway, we're going to use this heat gun, and we're just going to test out like some temperatures throughout the shelter and just see where we're at. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to point it at my shins down here. My feet, my shoes, and my shins are like burning up because I'm sitting on the edge of this shelter, right? So let's point 134.9 degrees. That's my shins. They're about to burn off. I'm about like Hank Hill's dad on King of the Hill. I'm about to lose my shins, right? Okay, let's check out the roof of this. We've got tons and tons of debris on top of this, on top of the plastic and the old tarps. Well, let's see what the temperature on the bottom of this is. 146. Isn't that incredible? Let's see what the edge of our sleeping bag is. 110.8 degrees. I mean, everything in our shelter. We can even go back a ways. I'll just do a quick reading of the back side of the roof. It's still 73.4 degrees. So when you're sitting under this shelter, it's literally like you're sitting in a room. There's no wind tonight, If there was wind, it would change things, obviously. We have a ton of radiant heat. Radiant heat is the heat that's coming from the side of your fire. But we've also got the air that's being heated up around the fire that's actually being trapped under this. Because we put the leaves and sticks and twigs and stuff on top of this shelter, we have quite a bit of insulation there. So the heat is not going up through it. So it has no choice but to ball up and the heat has no choice but to kind of hang out down here where we are. And it's like super warm. Like my shoes feel like they're melting. Let's see what they are. 127. So if you're in a situation where you're wet and your feet might be wet and your pants are wet, maybe your knees are wet from bending down on the mud and like working on stuff, you sit next to a fire like this, you're going to be warm. What a great day it has been. We're hitting the sack. Literally. We got this one big fart sack. It's perfect. Good morning. Oh. Well, the sleeping bag doubled up. It's the most awesome thing ever. It's about 33 degrees. It got down to about 23 last night. So not super cold weather camp out, but enough to really to see the benefits of the hedge. Hedge burns hot. Our fires were very hot last night and kept us more than warm through the night. Little cowboy coffee. Sitting by the fire, just enjoying a good cup of coffee. Got an absolute great night's sleep last night. The bedroll setup is a winner. It's a game changer, I would say. Having this big, ginormous sleeping bag that's super warm. It's not as warm as if you slide into the single sleeping bag, but it's still really, really warm, especially when you get two people in there. And Tiffany and I, we're cuddlers. So this gives us a chance to be in the same sleeping bag, but yet there's still tons and tons of room. It's almost like a little tent, if you will. But we're having kind of a hard time leaving. I think we're going to cook some breakfast too while we're out here. This coffee's delicious. The water has been sitting over the fire all night, soaking up the smoke. So it actually has given this coffee a little bit of a smoky flavor, and that just goes and pairs so well with coffee. There's something about getting a good night's sleep in the bush, which can be rare sometimes, especially for me because I have trouble sleeping. But there's something about it. It's amazing when you wake up refreshed and you smell the smoke and the fresh air, and you have a good cup of coffee. And now we're going to get some food on too. Little pancakes and bacon. Everything tastes better in the bush. Thank you all for watching. Please make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell icon so you get notifications. And remember, life is an adventure. And also remember, every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. We'll see you next time in the bush. Cool is I got my Wiggies bag a couple years ago. This is gonna So this is a really cool sleep. You've got to be kidding me.
Baby.
What are the odds of that?
That's just how smoke is, babe.
Bags, so you can actually zip them together to make one big bag. Go and
You can't be mad. You can't be mad. Okay, you look really mad.
I'm absolutely angry.
Oh, babe.
Okay, and is it going?
Yeah. So is the smoke.
The great thing about this coffee is the water kettle has been sitting over the fire, staying hot almost all night, so it's been soaking up the smoke, just like my eyes. It never does it until we're ready to film, and then it does it.
It makes my eyes water, my nose water.